Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Bastion Cardfight Vanguard deck profile for post-festival collection 2022. We got a few cards to help support the Bastion deck in the latest festival collection 2022 set. This was more of a support just to help with calling out units to the deck. I wouldn't say it was the best support we got for Bastion, but I still wanted to update the deck with a means to what you could place in for the new units we got in the latest set. I believe we will be getting some support in the new Set 6 booster set. Not a lot, but maybe hopefully a few cards for Bastion to help with its playstyle. So when that happens, I will definitely be updating that for this deck as well. But until then, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the Ride deck, our starter is still the Knight of Heavenly Bow base. When wrote upon, if you went second, draw a card. The grade 1 is Knight of Heavenly Sword, Fort. When it's wrote upon by a Knight of Heavenly Spear, Rooks, you reveal 2 grade 3 cards from your hand, reveal the top card of your deck, and call it to rear. Otherwise, you put it into the drop if it isn't. So unless it is a order unit, then otherwise it'll be placed onto the field. So pretty good field rush for the beginning. And also running the grade 2 Knight of Heavenly Spears Rooks. When this unit is wrote upon by a Apex Ruler Bastion, you reveal 3 cards from your hand that are grade 3, and you draw a card. So at least it makes up for the fact that you don't call the unit. You can at least add it to your hand depending on what it is. And our grade 3 is Apex Ruler Bastion. This is also the only copy of this card we run in the deck. During your turn, all of your grade 3 units get plus 2,000 power. And during your drive check, if you revealed a grade 3 card, you can discard a card, choose one of your rear guards, stand it, and it gets plus 10,000 power. This is a pretty good card, but it also just makes way for your main go-to unit in the deck, which is your grade 4 Apex Surpassing Sword Bastion Prime. On Vanguard, during your turn, all your front row units get plus 2,000 power. And on Vanguard, once per turn, at the end of the battle, your drive check revealed a grade 3 or greater card. Put a card with Bastion and its card name from your hand or soul into the drop zone to stand all your grade 3 rear guards, and they get plus 10,000 power until end of turn. So this is really the go-to pressure that this deck can provide. Having the grade 4 option to also provide a discard for the Bastion card in name. That's why we're running 4 copies of this card. And you also just want to have that pressure for the multiple restands to have 5 attacks in total with all of the grade 3 units you restand. For the newest unit we got from the Festival Collection, I am running 3 copies of Heavenly Command Dragon, Exolute Dragon. When this unit is placed on rearguard, if you have a Vanguard with Bastion in its card name, you can Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1, search your deck for up to 1 Bard of Heavenly Instrument, Lieutenant, and call it to rear in the same column as this unit and shuffle your deck. That adds to the plus pressure that you're meant to provide with Lieutenant and this card in the deck. I only run 3 copies though. It is a good card for the call out. You just won't want to Soul Blast any cards with Bastion in its card name, so you don't want to use it too much, but still good for that setup of the grade 1 you'll call out. For some of the other grade 3s that I run in the deck, I also run 4 Knight of Broad Axe Refluke. You put this unit into the soul, choose one of your grade 3 rear guards, and it gets plus 10,000 to end of turn, adding to the pressure that you can use by stacking up your grade 3 rear guard power, but also building up that soul for this card means that you can have some other Soul Blast power to use with your Exolute Dragon and not having it be the Bastion cards you may use. I also run 4 copies of Grand Heavenly Sword Alden. When this unit is placed on rear, Counter Blast 2, Soul Blast 1, choose a card from your hand and call it to rear, and if it is a grade 3 card, draw 2 cards. And when this unit attacks, if you have 3 or more grade 3 units, it gets plus 5,000. So this card can also work for the option of calling out Exolute, because it just says when it's placed on rear guard, doesn't have to be placed normally from the hand or anything like that. So you have that additional search and draw power with your Alden to use along with the call of the unit you may use. I also run 2 copies of Heavenly Pike Soliciting Korvok. When Soul Blast 1 and rest this unit, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 grade 3 card or greater unit from among them, and call it to rear, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So in the situation where you do reveal a Bastion, you could call it potentially, but there are plenty of other choices to call out with this card as an additional rear guard to use for whether it's boosting, if we can set up the proper order to use with it, or even just another resource to use. And also, I am running 3 copies of Heavenly Arrow, Sure Hit Spare, with this card in the front row. When this unit is stood by your Vanguard's ability, you can Soul Blast 2 and draw a card, so it gives you more Soul Blast power for a draw. And from the back row, during your turn, all of your other rear guards in the same column as this unit get plus 5,000 power, just adding an additional boost. And being in the back row, once again, if you set up your Pride to Protect normal order, set order, order, you can then have the option of at least having this unit have an ATK boost on its own. And lastly, for the grade 3s, I run the 1 Knight of War damage Fossato for the soul charge and counter charge power. If you wanted to adjust some of the numbers of your Fossato, you can mix around the numbers of Cornbach and Spare Rare that you run in the deck to increase the number of Fossato that you run. And for the grade 1 units, we don't run any grade 2 units in this deck because it does heavily rely on grade 3s. But for the only other grade 1 that we run aside from the Sentinel, it is 3 copies of Bard of Heavenly Instrument Lieutenant. This is the grade 1 that you call off of your Heavenly Command Exolute Dragon for the added boost power. When this unit boosts a grade 3 or greater unit, if you have a Vanguard with Bastion in its card name, it gets plus 5,000 to end of turn. Like I said, it's not the best unit, but if someone wanted to implement the new cards from the Festival Collection 2022 into this deck, I would feel these would be the best numbers to do so. Not running a full maximum number because you can search this card off Exolute Dragon, and you don't really want to have this card revealed off of your drive check as long as you have Bastion getting another grade 3, but it could hinder your reveal because you could get a trigger along with this card to have that play. If you wanted to drop this number down to 2, that's always an option you can do also, because you could call this card with Exolute Dragon and then just have those boosted rear guards set up. It gives plus 5,000 to any grade 3, so if your opponent does retire Exolute Dragon, you at least have that option to not have a rear guard for it to not boost and gain power. It just has to be any grade 3 or greater unit and having a Vanguard with Bastion, which can easily be done, whether it's the grade 3 or the grade 4 Bastion. And then for the last of the grade 1s, just 4 copies of Aegis Mare Dragon, the Sentinel of choice having the non-discard cost. If you have 1 or less cards in hand, being able to keep that last Sentinel for you to guard with against one of the bigger attacks your opponent may have. And then for the set orders, I'm just running 2 copies of Pride to Protect. When you set this card up, you play it with a discard of a card from your hand. From the order zone, all your grade 3 rear guards get boosts. Now, this can just help with the cards I spoke of before, including Spare Rare getting plus 5,000 from the back row and then being able to boost, and also being able to set up Exolute Dragon for the additional boost option with your grade 1, but still being able to have that backup option of your grade 1s and grade 3s having all full power boost for your units. Moving on now to the grade 0s. For the triggers, we are running 7 criticals, so 4 of the Blade Feather Dragon and 3 of the Gargant. Just with the pressure that your Bastion triple drive provides, you definitely do want to max out on the triggers to use. So 7 crits and also 4 draw triggers for the added shield power that this card can provide, because having the grade 3s with no shield is definitely a problem, but still easily to use all the triggers to guard against your opponent. I run 4 of the Invigorate Sage. If you want to run some of the generic heals to sub in, you can take out 2 copies of this card and run 2 of the 15k heal trigger generic as just an added shield guard power, but still going up against units that attack 2 or more times, especially in the mirror match or any other unit like with Overdress that can restand and attack again, it provides a pretty good shield number. With the last trigger just being the over trigger, this being able to give your rear guards the drive checks is a very, very scary pressure when you have all your full rear guards set and ready to go and you drive check this card. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said, I just wanted to find an update for the Bastion deck along with the Soul Blast Grade 3 that was recently restricted, and also just the new cards we had from the Festival Collection for a good while now. I felt like updating the Bastion deck until we get new support for it potentially in Set 6. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.